So the Home Secretary said that she has commissioned urgent advice about banning the American Bully X dogs following the brutal CCTV footage of an 11-year-old being attacked.
But the Dog Trust says banning all American Bully XL breeds is unfair and would punish well-behaved pets. So are we being too harsh?
Well, with us to discuss this is dog trainer John Gardner and dog behaviourist Stan Rawlinson. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me come to you first, John. Is this an emotional reaction now? Because this footage is so shocking. And do you think we should be a bit more measured before taking such decisive action?
Good morning. I think the emotional reaction's entirely normal. It's a human reaction. My concern is that we've been in this situation before with pit bulls in the 1980s, and they were banned, and we're back in that situation now. So I do think that whilst we need to introduce some serious measures to reduce this or eradicate this type of attack, it does need to be measured and balanced against some kind of wider policy with not all dog breeds, but certainly powerful dog breeds.
Let's get Stan Rawlinson in. Stan, you wrote a really good piece in the Mail this week, and you make the point, because a lot of people say it's not about bad dogs, it's about bad owners, but your point is these can be very bad dogs. Absolutely,
Andrew. I mean, we are talking that these dogs are actually weapon grade. They're a fraction of the overall dog population, but that small amount is responsible for 75% of all the deaths over the last 3 years. And that's just not acceptable. However, I know I've called for changes in the law, and we do need them. However, I've actually created or sat down and thought what should be brought in. And this shouldn't be just on the dog. There should be a lot of responsibility on the owners. And I believe the owners have got to be licensed and the dogs have got to be licensed. And if the owners are licensed, there's got to be some very strict requirements. Minimum age of 18, for instance, proof of identity, proof of having no criminal records, proof of not being mentally ill or physically incapable of holding these big dogs. I'm not talking about every dog. I'm talking about the dogs that we've got listed down that have killed many, many people over the last few years. And we've got to really change things. There must be an insurance contract taken out for that dog for a minimum of £100,000. So if someone is injured, I'm not insured, I've got no money. Proof of identification and microchip of these dogs. Every one of these dogs should be on a short lead, and they also should be muzzled in public. And any handlers or dog walkers who walk them should also fall in touch with that particular situation. And I want a massive change to the law. It's got to be done. So there's two aspects of it. If we are going to say it's just the owners, well, at least that's going to take the owners in. But it's also going to take into consideration the dogs. So dogs with strong, blocky heads, muscly, large mouths, really, really, really fighting dogs. And these are genetically made.
John, yeah, absolutely, Stan. I don't disagree with any of that. I think that's really sensible. But John, how about you? Because I think those sound like really sensible measures. And what I'm thinking is that amount of hassle would therefore become a deterrent to some lazy thug who just wants to use a dog as a gun.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with pretty much everything Stan has said, and it's these are ideas that we're sharing around my own peer group. I think drastic changes are needed across the board. I think it's important to remember, though, that this isn't just big dogs. And look, big dogs do a lot of damage. But I think if we're going to make change, then it needs to be across the board. And it needs to recognise that, it isn't always big breeds of dogs that are biting. We need to look at the statistics of what dogs are biting. We train 98% of the dogs we train are reactive, aggressive dogs. Of that 98%, a vast majority are small dogs. Now, a small dog biting you or I hurts, trust me, but it's not going to cause the damage that an ex-bully type.
John, a lot of people watching and listening will say they've seen these videos of these Frankenstein dogs. Just ban them. Just ban them. Get rid of them because they've killed so many people.
It shocks me that 16 is an age that you can go out and buy a dog. It shocks me that without any experience you can go and get these dogs. But all of this is happening outside of licensed breeders. These dogs are being sold by word of mouth, etc. The other thing that pops to mind with this, because I train dogs that are on court orders. Dogs will come to us on a court order saying that they have to wear a muzzle, which, that's absolutely a responsible thing to do. But there's nothing governing what muzzle the dog wears. So, in compliance with a court order, you can go to Pets at Home and get a plastic £5.99 muzzle that is no use to anyone. And I've actually seen a dog on a court order, a big dog, and the muzzle was basically a Holtian. For those that don't know what that is, it's basically a lead that wraps over the mouth. It doesn't shut the mouth or protect anyone. I agree with Stan that there needs to be a massive discussion and a big change in how we look at dogs and how we categorize.
John, sorry to interrupt, but what situation would a dog have to have got into to have a court order against it?
Okay.
So again, I think this is where.
Sorry. Maybe Stan. Do you know what? Stan, let's bring you in. What situation would a dog have to be in to have a court order, and why hasn't that dog just been put down?
The reason it doesn't always mean that it's killed someone or killed a dog, but it's been dangerously out of control in a public or a private place. The law changed in 2014 again. At one time, it was only dangerously out of control in a public place. But then, of course, they found most of the people getting killed were getting killed in their own homes. The XL Bully is a perfect one. It's killed a lot of their owners, a lot of the people. There was 3 trainers in the last 2 years. People, professional handlers. One of the guys, very, very sadly, was a rehabilitator of dogs. His wife had died a year before from cancer. He had 6 children, and his XL Bully killed him within seconds. This guy was a really experienced trainer. So if experienced people get killed, what is the general public going to do?
Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen. Dog trainer John Gardner, dog behaviourist Stan Rawlinson there. Thank you so much. Wow.
What we don't want to do, though, is the government rushing in and doing dodgy legislation like they did with the Dangerous Dogs Act back in 1990, and they got it horribly wrong.
Great suggestions there, I think, in terms of managing.
I like the idea about the £100,000 insurance.
I do, because, of course, if you are injured by a dog in that way, you will have a loss of earnings.
Yeah.
You will not be able to go to work. Sometimes you will never be able to work again.
You might need plastic.